Talk about your personal success journey. What makes you, you?
There are multiple things that over my life that shaped who I am professionally and personally. In the latest book, In Future Strong, I talked about an amazing leadership guru called Warren Bennis. He wrote a book that was focused on crucible moments, and that all of us, as we go through life, we have these crucible, which is like a forge and they make metal in, a crucible moment that tests us. You've had yours, everybody who's watching has had theirs. And what I did when I interviewed everybody around the world, I asked them, what makes you, you? And then I pulled those stories. So your question to me is, what makes me, me? There are several things. One of which is the death of my mom. Over 21 years ago, she died in the hospital, massive stroke. She actually died in the same hospital she gave birth to me in. It's like circle of life. And it was unexpected. We were a very matriarchal family. She was the center of everything. Unexpected, we get called into the emergency room, my sisters with their families, me with my family. My father was there. Her mother, my grandmother, was there. And we were told, you know, she's not going to make it through the night, massive stroke. And there's not much more we can do, but we can make her comfortable. And why don't you go up to the family waiting room on the 4th floor outside of the ICU, the intensive care unit. We'll bring her up and you can be with her when she passes. And we go up there and it's 5 minutes, no mom. 10, no mom. 20 minutes, no mom. My grandmother, the worst thing that can happen in your life is losing a child before you go. So my grandmother is losing it. 30 minutes, still no mom. I'm waiting for my father to do something. It's his wife. He's not a take charge kind of guy. So finally at 40 minutes, I went ballistic. I kicked, I screamed, I cursed, you know, but I got everybody's attention. And the nurses and docs all came over and they were very caring and empathetic and loving. They really were. But if you strip all that kindness away, what they said was, sorry, your mom's been dying alone in the emergency room. Nobody's with her to hold her hand. And we'll go get her, but we're really sorry. And what happened was there was a miscommunication between the ER and the ICU. So nobody knew to go get her, and she was there all alone. She did pass a couple hours later, and thankfully we were with her. But there's a couple things that taught me, that made me who I am. And this, you know, after the grieving process, so this is over the course of maybe a year later, you know, I finally realized that hospital, they didn't intentionally do anything wrong, but they stole 40 of the last minutes that I was ever going to get with my mom. I'm never getting those back. So after additional research that went into prior books that I was working on at the time, I realized something that's very important. Each of us only gets 1,440 minutes every day to spend. And those are our choices. We get to choose whether we lounge on the couch, whether we play with our kids, whatever we do. But make sure they're your choices. Because we sit in too many stupid meetings, answer too many stupid emails, worry about too many stupid things that are beyond our control, that waste far too many of those 1,440 minutes. So what makes me, me, the essence of mom, is I travel the world making sure that everybody knows they are in charge of their 1,440. And that we each need to be making personal choices. So that's carried through my 8 books, that carries through my consulting, that carries through all the coaching and workshops that I do, is teaching people they have to take control of their life. And many people do that through, you know, very introspective, motivational stuff. I get hardcore transactional. You are wasting 40 minutes right now. What are you going to do with that time? So when I do workshops, I teach people how to, something that takes them an hour, how to do it in 5 minutes. And they get all excited. Oh, I can do this, isn't this wonderful? I said, but don't forget the real point. It's not that I just taught you how to do that faster. What are you going to do with those 55 minutes now? So when I give talks, and I'm supposed to be up there for an hour, I try to end at about the 55-minute mark, and I give people back time in their life. That's usually the best part of the whole speech. It's just me knowing. So part of what I'm passionate about, what makes me me, is I look at all the things that waste and abuse our time and attention. And I help people take more control over that. And going back to the other things we talked about earlier, it's going to get worse. There's going to be more and more demands for your time and attention. That goldfish and the information overload we talked about earlier. More and more, you are going to have to know what you stand for so you can say yes to this and no to that. So the toughest choices you're going to have to make is yes to this and no to that. And I want everybody to realize that we need to raise the bar on respect. I have no doubt you're a wonderfully respectful person. I hope I am. But beyond that, the crucial thing is recognize that everything we do in order to get our jobs done, we use a portion of someone else's life. You can't do your job without using a portion of my life, without using the guys behind the camera's lives. That's how we get our jobs done, is we're using other people's lives to get our work done. We need to be more appreciative of that. So if I were to boil everything about what makes me me in my personal journey, when I was going through divorce a dozen years ago, I did a lot of personal introspection. And one of the things I put on the personal side is a journey from self-fold, or sometimes selfish, to selfless. And my goal is to be as selfless and as giving as I can be. And professionally, that's personally, professionally, if I were to boil everything I do down to one word, it's empathy. Looking at everything from the end users or the end workers or the end learners' perspective and say, how can we save them more of their life?